Hello everyone, the seventh chapter of science, characteristics and classification of living organisms. So what are the characteristics or character of the living organisms, living things, which is both included animals and plants, and on their classification, their respiratory or the nutrition, their growth, their movement, their exertion, sensitivity, and the similarities are in the living organisms, any similarities and their lifespan, reproduction system for the living organism, circular structure, the other habitants of the living organisms, and varieties of living organisms that exist, and all the things of the classifications that we are going to deal in this chapter. So you know that there are number of things that is existing on this earth all around us, like tree, plant, chair, table, which is man-made and which are from the natural, right? So these all are similar or they are different from each other. So that we are going to see in this chapter, mostly their characteristics and their whatever they live, how they grow, and everything that is in the this chapter. So you can see the table below here. So there are some objects here. You can see this object first in the first row, and respire, then grow, then have food, then produce similar things, then living and non-living. That what is that? The first point is given in here, the plant and tree. So plant and tree, they respire. Respire means which take breathe, which take oxygen and release carbon dioxide, like that. So then the plants grow, right? Then they have food, means they don't have physically, they create them food through the photosynthesis, and they produce similar things, right? Fruits and all, like mango tree will produce a lot of mango trees, their seeds again will grow. So they are living thing also. And for second point is chair, which doesn't respire, which is non-living thing, right? So that doesn't grow, doesn't have food, that doesn't produce similar food, and that is non-living things. Similar has applies to the table. Then dog is a living, right? And cow also is a living. Stone is a non-living thing, and house is a non, and the birds. All these you fill in your textbooks. The characteristics of living organism we are going to study. The first point is respiration. Respiration means all the living beings take an oxygen and give out carbon dioxide during the breathing process. So this process is called a respiration. For that, we'll take the first activity. Three bottles with cap coated thread dried seeds of gram, sprouted seed of gram, phenolphthalein solution, caustic soda. Then you will see when caustic soda is mixed in the phenolphthalein solution, it turns pink. This pink solution again turns colorless when it comes into contact with carbon dioxide. So when there is oxygen, you can see here in the what is that three diagram. Take three bottle with a cap. Okay, label them A, B, C. You give the name. Then put dried gram seed in bottle. Put first dried gram of seed in the bottle A. Then sprouted germinated seeds in the bottle B. Some the sprouted means the plant is going to get ready to come out. So that one you put in bottle B. Then keep the bottle C empty, okay, without anything, and take the three of the pieces in the thread. You take one thread and length of 20 to 30 centimeters. Attach cotton soaked in alkaline phenolphthalein, and at both end of the three threads insert these three threads in each of the bottle in such a way that the other end of the bottle or the other end remains outside the bottle. So one cotton thing should be outside. So close all three the bottles tightly with the lids, and after 30 minutes you will observe that the cotton which you have put has changed the color, and again it has turned to the other color you can see here. So as compared to bottle A, the cotton immersed in the bottle B has turned colorless faster, because there is a you can see the spotted thing is there where the seed is growing faster, and it observes that the cotton immersed into a C. Those of the cotton which are outside bottle A, B, C, we learn that due to the lesser amount of carbon dioxide in this bottle, the atmosphere outside has been no change in other colors. So from the experiment, we learned that living organisms respire. They release carbon dioxide and take oxygen. The rate of respiration is slow in the dried seed, which we have put in the first bottle, while the respiratory is more higher in the second bottle, which is the it has put the what is that sprouted seed in that, so it is growing faster. So it has changed its color. So the more in the respirated seeds are, and more in number. So next point is nutrition. So what they have and how they have their own nutrition to grow themselves. So how do you feel when do you do not have food for some days? So for us, if we don't have food for some days, we'll be very hungry and we will feel very weak, right? Similarly, what happens if a plant or a flower pot is kept without water in darkness for 5 to 6 days? So if you do not get food, your body becomes weak and you are not able to do a lot of running around us. So you cannot do anything, you will feel weak because there is no food inside. So from the food only we are getting energy. Okay, so similarly, the plants also, the leaves, they also get energy from the environment. If there is a from the light, if it is in the darkness, they does how they will produce their food, how they will cook their food with photosynthesis. So they cannot put food, means they will die in that darkness. So they will not have any fresh air, because air also is oxygen, because they take oxygen and release carbon dioxide. In that way they cannot live in the darkness and in the dark room. So do animals produce their own food? So in the first chapter we have learned about the environment. So you learned that they cannot synthesize like plants do. Plants themselves, they cook their own food and they supply to the branches, like, but animals cannot do. Animals, they have to eat either the grass or they have to eat another animals. So therefore all the living beings need nutrition somehow. They, everyone on this earth, they, even it is a small insect, that also need nutrition. So number three is exertion. So there are a certain substance produced inside the body of living beings that are harmful for our body, and this needs to be removed from the body. So these harmful substances are known as waste, and the process of taking these out of the body is known as exertion. So whatever food that we are having, okay, whatever food we are eating, then next day we are exerting, we are taking it out. So all the waste, so we cannot keep in the stomach, that is nature that has to come out. Okay, so solid waste, urine waste, and the carbon dioxide and all, that is the another form of exertion. So plants also exert. Okay, so carbon dioxide and water vapor, so they exert how? With the, through the carbon dioxide they exert, and the water vapor also to the plants. And some plants exert the gum as a waste material through the stem and all. You can find out with some trees, big trees, they will release the gum waste like materials. So next is movement. So you walk to move from one place to another. Okay, we are human beings, and animals also, they have those animals which have legs. They also move from one place to another because they have legs, right? So in this known as mobility. So this is known as mobility. So we are mobile. We move everywhere. So bigger plants and trees are stationary at one place. So but these also, the stem move towards light while the roots move toward the direction towards the light. So we think that how these plants can move. So do they live in the stationary, means once they are planted in one place, or when it is sprouted in one area, it will be remaining in the same place, but it will be moving towards the sunlight. Where there is more sunlight, it will move towards that, and the roots under the ground will move toward the opposite direction towards the finding out the way to water or something like that. So they also move. So all the living organisms here have some or the other movements. So to understand this more, we'll take one activity: a potted plant and a cardboard box with a hole. So you take one carbon, and you can see here one hole is there. So make one hole beside that one plant. The potted plant inside the cardboard box with the hole, place them in the sunlight. So after 3 4 days, you will find that, observe that the stem of the plant has turned towards the sunlight hole. So where there is sunlight, it has turned here where the air is or the sunlight is coming from. From this activity, we learn that there is a motion in plants. So this doesn't mean that this is a glass. You take a cardboard. Okay, this is simply to show that example only. This is not. This should be not seen. Only here should be the hole. Okay, only you have to show this part. Everything will be covered with the cardboard, not with the glass. So in that way, it will work. Next one is a sensitivity. So when we call a cow by showing her bread or grass, she walks towards us. How do you feel when you see your favorite dish? So your mouth starts watering. So what happens when your hands come near the palm of a burning candle? You remove your hands at once. This action are due to the sensitivity. So there is sensitivity to plants also. For example, the flowers, the lotus open when the sunlight rises and closes when the sun is set. So and the leaves of turmeric and the kanchnar plants also at night. So they close when it gets dark. So at the two examples shown in the plants are sensitive to plants. So the leaves of touch me not, the this name leaves is what we are seeing in this picture is touch me not. So when you touch this plant, it will whenever no, whenever you touch this plant, when it is open, it will close itself. It will be that is shows that the sensitivity of touch me not is there. Means the living organisms have the sensation of the sensitivity if you they react towards the environment or any action is happening. Next is growth. So you have seen that there is an increase in the height of the offspring of all the animals. In the same way, plants also grow. Animals grow up to a fixed age, while plants grow throughout their life. So animals and small insects, the reptiles and all, they have the fixed age, and they will be having, they will be growing that much only. They cannot grow again bigger and bigger. But the plants, whenever they are till they are sprouted or they are alive in their own place, they will be growing, keep on growing and growing. The circular structure. Just as the house is made up of a small bricks, the body of all the animals and plants are made up of small cells. The structure of the cells can be observed under the microscope. So all the living organisms are made up of small cells, and they can be observed different cells of different animals through only the microscope. The reproduction, all living beings produce offspring of the same kind as them. This is known as the reproduction. For example, cat have kittens and chickens come out of the hen's eggs. Plants produce seeds and new plants grow out of the seed. So these are called a reproduction. This is a continuous process. It goes on with all their own living organisms. For animals, they will do their own production, and for plants also have the reproduction system. Then the fixed lifespan. So all living things are alive for a fixed time after birth, and after their period they die. So we human beings, to all the living organisms, we have a fixed lifespan. This fixed time is known as the lifespan of the living beings. So different living beings have different lifespan. This lifespan can be vary for a few days, or maybe it will go to the years. So you can see here the lion has 20 to 25 years, and the bee has 1 to 4 months. Then horse will have 20 to 25 to 30 years, and 2 to 3 years for the rat, and for the squirrel 8 to 9 years, and 120 to 150 years. You can see more than animal. The tortoise is having a lifespan. Then 70 to 90 years have elephant. Then 10 to 18 years are the lifespan of the dog, and the lifespan of yeah, human beings are 80 to 100 years. Similarities in living organisms. There are certain basic similarities among all the living organisms, be it plant or animals. So there are a lot of similarities because we are having two eyes, they also have two eyes. So many animals, they are having two eyes, most of the animals, and also a lot of similarities are there in living organism also between the human beings. The bodies of all the living organisms are made up of cells, so that we can find in the microscope. So different life activity like mobility, reproduction, growth, nutrition, these are all similar, right? These are they are also having reproduction system. We are also needed of nutrition. We also grow, we also mobile, we also move. So function similarly is all living beings. So in spite of these basic similarities, there are certain differences among them as well. So some of the differences will be there because we are not everyone is same similar. Okay, so everyone is unique. So this arise due to the environmental they live in. For example, for animals of land, motion is through legs. So those animals which have this land, they have legs, they can move. Okay, while motion for living beings of water, they will swim. They'll like a fish due to the fins. So where has the birds motion due to wings? So they have different motion here. Those who have legs, they will walk. Those who are in the water, they'll swim. Those who have wings, they'll fly. Variation in shape of the living organisms. So we are differences in the all the living organisms in the terms of shape. So observe insects hatch at your home and in your surroundings has wavule found in grains. So small insects that are that you when the mothers and all they will wash or they will clean the rice, you will find the small visible insects. So can there be organisms smaller than this? So can there be more smaller than this? Of course, there is more smaller than this. That is given here in the example. So you take one glass, one water from the pond, one glass. Then you just observe from the microscope. So you will see a lot of small things that are moving. Okay, so that type of molecules or something maybe that is small organisms which we cannot see through the naked eye. Okay, so here elephant is big animal, but you know that the blue whale is animal much bigger than the elephant. The weight of the blue whale is equal to the 30 adult animal. Look how is the big the adult of the means how bigger the whale is. The flower of the certain plants are very small while those of the other smalls are very big. Similarly, the seed of some plants are size very dust is very small like dust, no dust particles, while those of the some plants are very big, while plants that have seen the bigger flower and while which plants have the bigger seeds are in the smaller size. Okay, so there's a variation in the seeds also. So which is very small grows a very bigger in plant and which has very big seed grows a little bit smaller than that. So variation in mood of nutrition. So in this chapter on environment, you learn that plants are autotrophic and they are photosynthesized. Those plants that do not make their own food take it from the other plants. So like Amarbel dodder. Okay, so you can see in here in the picture they are taking or they are attached to the other plants to get nutrition. So they call parasites. Some plants depend on the dead and the delayed matter of food. So they cannot they have to get support from other planets so they can grow at least in the higher position. If they cannot nicely come out or come bigger or grow bigger in the other areas where they need a support, okay, from other living or other dead plants. So they are called Saurophytes with like mushroom, the bread mold and etc. Some plants are autotrophic by but they do not digest insects. So they are called insectivorous plants or the pitch planet or pitcher, which other the living organisms like the herbivorous, carnivorous, and omnivorous that we have studied in the first chapter. We see that there is a lot of variation in mode of nutrition of various living organisms. So mushroom, you can see that doesn't grow, mostly grows in only the uh, very rare type of sand, and here is another pitcher plant which also depend on the insects. They consume the insects and they take some of their they get nutrition from their plant animals or the other insects. Variation based on habitat. So what is the habitual things that are happening here has been the living organism has been characterized or categorized on basis of whether they live on the basis water or in the desert. So terrestrial plants and animals. So those living organisms that live in land are called terrestrial plant and animals. So like roses, human beings, horses, lion, cows, goats, neem, banyan, and mango, etc. are example of these terrestrial planets. So those planets which live in the land. So aquatic animals and plants. So animals and plants that are found living in the water are called aquatic organisms, which live under the water also, upon the water also. Like fishes, lotus are like example of that. So aquatic animals like fish and boat shaped. So while others they have webbed feet like frogs and ducks. So they will have some legs and all to come out also, and they can swim also. So some don't have that. The stem and root of water plant have air cavities that have helped the float in the water. So they have some types of air cavities that can be floating in the water. They don't dip under the water. So the water hyacinth. So that is called, you can see here in the diagram nearby, the ponds that you see. Xerophytic plants and animals. So plants found in the desert are called xerophytics, while animals found in the deserts are desert animals. The animals and plants of the desert have specific adaptations, like cushioned hoofs of the camel. You can see the lot of what is a pumped up thing on the top of the camel. The step of Apuntia coctus is thick and succulent of the leaves are modified in spines. So discuss among the about both of the xerophytic plants and animals with your friends if you have seen that. In the diagram also there is given. So water hyacinth and optinic apo, apotia cactus, and you can see the fish here. Need for classifications. So there is a great variation in the organisms found in the surroundings. So they show that broad and specific structure differences. So it is difficult to study each organism individually. So we have classified similar organisms into a category that by studying about one member of the category, we may understand the whole thing of a little bit information that we will get from this. So hence classification is carried out for making the study of the living organisms to be easier. We cannot study everything because there is a lot of more there is been researched about these things. It will be more broader. That's why to get an idea, it has made classification in very easier to understand, taken as one characteristic of the living organisms particularly. So classification of living organisms. So all living organisms are classified into mainly two categories. So one is plants and animals. So classification of plants are classified based on their size, type of stem of plant span, their lifespan, and they are classified into four again different parts. So first one is herbs, shrubs, trees, plants need support, and climber and twinners. So what is herbs? Herbs, there are small plants that have so soft stem. They have a lifespan of less than a year. They are called annuals or coriander, wheat, rice. So they are very soft stem. They have a little lifespan. They don't grow throughout the year like that. So 2 or 4 to 5 months they will just be there, and it will be cut for the vegetables, or if they don't cut also, that will be dead there only. So next one is shrubs. Shrubs have the medium height of the stem, are relatively hard. They live for more than a year and called perennial plants like rose, bushram, and bear. The next one is tree. They are very tall and large. And plants, their stems are very thick and hard. The trees are perennials like mango, banana, peepal, neem. So these are very large trees. So plants need support. So some of the plants have the climber and the twinner. They don't. They have to be any support for them. Otherwise, they will be not exceeding or growing much. So they could be annual, biennial, and perennial like peas, buttergourd, pumpkin, and all. So this the plants mostly we use for having food, means vegetables and all. So you can see how the differences of shrubs, herbs, and trees 1 to 3 star. So you can see here herb, shrub, and tree and climber. So that is the different types of four categories of the plants. Another basis of classification of plant. So you classified plant basis on their size, nature, and stem and lifespan. So plant also can be classified based on their mood of nutrition. So they how they get the nutrition. So in this very lesson, you have read about the variation of nutrition among the plants, and for the classification on the basis of nutrition. So you can see the below the table. So the name of the plant is given. Then mango is there. Can they make their own food? Okay. So get their own food from the dead or decaying matter. Do the mango have that mood, or get their food from the living plants? So this you just think and just write in your notebook. And classification of animals. Now we are going to see the how it is the nutrition or what is the lifespan of the animals. So similarly, animals can be classified into different characteristics. We will now classify animals depending on whether they have a spinal cord or not. So based on the following points, we can know when animals have the vertebral column. So the vertebral is like a backbone type of spinal cord. From below the head of the organisms of long bone extends to below the waist. So this is called the vertebral column of the backbone. So those animals that have four head limbs have the vertebral column. You can feel the vertebral column by feeling the back with your hands. So you can touch any of the animals and you can feel that. So which are in straight in size, which they walk with the four legs. So those animals that have a tail also have the vertebral column, the backbone. The animals that have bones in any part of their body also have the vertebrae. The animals that have the vertebral column are called vertebrates. So fish, lizard, bird, frog, human beings, etc. They have vertebrates. The vertebral column is made of several small bones. These are called vertebrae. So the animals that do not have their vertebral column are called invertebrates, like centipede, earthworm, okay, snail, leech, scorpion, and all. These are some of the lobster and all. These are some of the examples which is straight in. They swing. Look, they slide like anything. No, they can move anyhow. So animals that are segmented do not have the vertebral columns are like earthworm that you see. So here some of the names are given. So you can write the additional names that you know, and are they vertebral or not? Or then what are the reasons? So here are some of the pictures that you can see which have vertebrates or which don't have. Now classify the vertebrates as per the direction given. So fish live in the water, lays eggs. So animals like frogs are found living both in land and animals. Snake-like body converts the scale, and the birds, the body is covered with a feather. The mammals, so you can just match it whether which has vertebra and which is not. So animals, so which are the animals have invertebrates and vertebrates. So aquatic and the egg laying eggs like fish. Aquatic as well as terrestrial, mainly terrestrial eggs laying on eggs like frog. Body covered with the scale egg laying, body covered with the feather egg laying, body covered with hair. These are some of the what is the activities that the animals do. So we can find out that they have vertebrates. Scientific name of the living organism. So there are a lot of other names like given in different languages. Like plants, animals have different names from different languages. Like mango is called a aam in Hindi, and mangyana in Tamil, and amdi in Gujarat, manga in Malayalam, ama in Chhattisgarh, and amba in Marathi. Similarly, the other panthers is called the tendua and Hindi, shivagni in Kannada, and chitradhari in Tamil. So there are a lot of different names that have been scientifically that have been kept. You can go through that. So importance of plants and animals. So why it is important for us in our daily lives? Is it any use? So important of plants are has food. We get wheat, maize, pulse, sugar, oil. Has spices. We get mustard, coriander, anise, and a lot of things. All the spices. As medicine, we get basil like tulsi, maladona, chinchona, and a lot of things from the plants only. Has beverages like tea, coffee, and all. So a lot of things are there that we are taking from the plants and living organisms. As fiber, we get cotton, jute, linen. Has fuel, wood. Has paper industry, bamboo. Has industries, listen, rubber, tire tubes, and all. For purification of the environment, we get purification of air by the plants. If there is no plants, there will be a lot of pollutions. Has oil, custard, peanuts, amal, and neem. So there are a lot of uses that we get from the plants. So and for the from the animals, what we get? As food, we get milk, ghee, meat, egg, butter. For transport, we have horse, camel, donkey, elephant. In leather industry, we have skin of the dead animals and all. To get wool, we get from the sheep and yak, and from honey, we get from honeybee and a lot of things. So now we will sum up what we have read in this chapter. So we have several things around us that have been classified in living and non-living things. So the living things breathe, eat, exert, move, grow, produce, reproduction is there, and they are have their sensitivity. So based on their plans, they can be classified in herbs, shrubs, trees, and climber. So animals are classified into invertebrates and vertebrates, which have backbone or not. So animals and plants shows vibration based on habitat and mode of nutrition. So all plants and animals have scientific name. So we are dependent on plants and animals in many things. Plants give us food like wheat, rice, pulse, spices, oils, vegetables, etc. From animals we get milk, ghee, butter, egg, curds, wool, fiber, etc. Animals help us in transport and carrying loads and lot of things. So we should protect the environment. Also we should save the animals. So that we have studied about the characteristics and classification of the living organism in the chapter.